Better future. What is that? What would you like to see in a better future, and how do we achieve that better future?
So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me, if you will, to ask you to support me in warmly welcoming our next presenter, Kura Chihota, who is a regional property manager. Thank you, Kura. Please come through, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Pavsore Manore Neketwa. Dunoitwa Kura Chihota, and it is my pleasure to be here with you to bring somebody else into the room. We're here as adults, 40 plus years into our independence, but I thought for purposes of our talk today, we would bring young Tafadzwa. Tafadzwa is 6 years old. She lives in Budiriro. If you've read the national census, Harare's population is now at 1.6 million. We started at 616 guys when it was Salisbury in 1980. The average household has 3.71 members in the household. 48% of the country, when they talk about where do you sleep, it's communal sleeping. If we talk about access to water, 27% have no access to running water. When we talk about title deeds and spread across the country, we have less than 300,000 registered deeds in people's hands. So Tafadzwa, I'm sorry, my dear. I'm sorry that we are not where you want us to be. But I want to take you and your mind to build a better Zimbabwe. To build a better Zimbabwe, we've got to exercise the real estate that sits in our minds. We have to exercise that which can imagine what things can be. And to imagine, because I'm talking to you, Tafadzwa, I'm going to give you 5 letters that are easily rememberable. Growth, growth, growth. I want you to grow, my dear. I want you to grow in confidence. I want you to grow in your space. I want you to grow in this great city called Harare. Founded in 1890 by a few men pulling a few cows, and they picked the spot by the river and the Kopi. I want us to grow this city to be an inclusive, phenomenal place where we use the word densification in a soft way, where we talk about providing more services to more people, more affordably. I want you to think green. I want you to think of the safety of the spaces that you can play. Then we can look after our wetlands to be exactly what they are: a sieve, a reservoir, a place that keeps us safe from the flood. Tafadzwa, I want you to know about governance. I want you to know that your counselor is not somebody who pitches up once in 5 years. I want you to know that's your go-to person to speak to him or her about the community. But I want you to be a good citizen. I want you to pay your rates and taxes to capacitate the very government that is going to provide us public goods. So that's the G I want you to remember. The R in growth. For R, I want you to understand we are a resilient and robust people. We are planning a city of the future where that city has salt and sweet and work for all of us. I want us to understand where our roles are and that we must be responsible in what we do. We need to plant the trees that I will be too old by then, but your children are going to grow up under. Maybe even your daughter is going to meet her boyfriend under the Mutuem pinches. I want life in the city to be rewarding. If you look at our census data, Tafadzwa, you'll see that 24% of the population in our city is unemployed. I want us to grow, and I want that growth to come with ownership, the O in growth. I want you to be a title deed owner. I want you to escape that grinding mess that is called being a lodger in the urban environment. I want you to have security of tenure. I want you to have signed up on the housing waiting list. Don't be dissuaded that it's 2 million long. I want you to believe that the presidential title deed scheme has you in mind. I want to see 100,000 title deeds giving the dignity of the human being to say, Panaba de Pamut. I want there for you to be obvious progress. I want to see the roads. I want to see the transport networks. I want to see the infrastructure that we so deserve, that is embedded in the SDGs. The constitution of our country says that we will be provided with water. We pay taxes that we have security. We want to go to schools that can elevate and unlock our minds. I want you to access those opportunities. The W is work, work, work. Our good Lord blessed us with so much beneath the ground and above the ground. You and I are here with our brains, our talents, our networks, our inalienable Zimbabweanness to struggle, to thrive, and to do great things. I want you to understand that there is a we that is bigger than an I. I want to be able to explain to you that we are not alone, that when we look across the borders, we can go to Lusaka and see a publicly funded private-public partnership to build houses. I want to take you to Johannesburg, and I want to show you what the urban regeneration has looked like by the single stroke of a pen. And where they said that if you develop within the 18 square kilometers of the Johannesburg CBD, we will give you a tax write-off. I know you're too young to understand tax write-offs, but by the stroke of a pen, we can change things. But for you, Tafadzwa, I want you to come with me to the Minister of Finance and say, Mukuru, to ukumbira kuti musaine one SI, one PEL, to say, if you sell property from 2025 until 2035, you are guaranteed US dollars. That will allow people to lend, to borrow, to build, to dream, to create more than the gap that is between Udiriro and Borodale. I want us to have teamwork, Tafadzwa. I want us to work together at a level of the council where it is not us and it is not them. It is not party A, it is not party B, but we have city fathers who are our fathers. Tafadzwa, I want us to use technology. Technology, I can give you a number. I can give you James Manika's number. He's the Senior Vice President of AI at Google. Zimbabwean to Zimbabwean, put in the call and say, how do we make cities more accessible? How do we leapfrog a digital technology? Tafadzwa, I want you to have title. Be invested in this country. This country, we are not a creche to raise people and brains to export them. I understand many of us do that. But Tafadzwa, I want you to own this piece of real estate called Zimbabwe. I want a transport network that your mom and dad are currently battling. They take 30-year-old ex-Jap combis to get to town. And if it's a matter of life and death, and the alarm bells ring at Old Mutual Life Assurance Company when a taxi doesn't make it. I want you, Tafadzwa, to have world-class infrastructure, a taxi that can take you to the point of economic opportunity. The H, Tafadzwa, in growth. The H speaks to our history. This is not something new. This is not something difficult. This is not something alien to us, Tafadzwa. Our history is we are proud people. We built, occupied, and sustained the Great Zimbabwe Complex. I want you to understand that you matter, Tafadzwa. As a Zimbabwean, you matter. We heard the professor earlier today talking about Zimbabwe being, and I'll write it down for you very gently, 0.002% of the global economy. That's not your number, Tafadzwa. You are special, Tafadzwa. You matter, Tafadzwa. Because as Zimbabwe, we do great things when we unleash our minds. We were one vote away from having our son of the soil, the late Bernard Chidzero, being the Secretary General of the United Nations. Tafadzwa, we had athletes, 2 young men from this little teapot-shaped country in the Olympic finals, where they ran their hearts out. And they missed medaling by, I give you the number again, 0.7 of a second. You, Tafadzwa, are world class. The cities that we have the infrastructure, we have the backbone, we have the overarching legislation. What we need now is your will, Tafatswa. We will give you the tools and the vision to create the dream. And together, we are going to build this great thing, this beautiful future together. But it depends on those of us in the room. Will you join us on the journey to build a better Zimbabwe for our Tafatswa? Thank you.